Well, hi everyone. My name is Paul. I live in Madison, Connecticut, and I'm with an organization called Your Community Cares, which is spelled capital U, capital R, Community Cares. And we are an organization that's throughout Connecticut that was founded in 2019, and we're in over 115 towns here in Connecticut. And what we do is we do volunteer work. We perform services for our members. Now, our members are people who are 70 years or older, or 18 years of age or older, who have a temporary or permanent physical disability. So I'm a volunteer with the organization, and what the volunteers do, we do one of four different categories of services, which are called deeds. And the first category is companionship. The member may go online, and this is all done online where members will ask for a certain thing to be done for them. But the first category is companionship. They may ask for a visit by one of our members to go see them. Secondly, transportation. We do driving, either driving the member to a medical appointment or wherever they need to go, or pick up groceries somewhere and then bring them to the member. Third is housework, and fourth is yard work. So we do one of those four. Those are the four categories, and as a volunteer, you can elect to do all four of them, or you can say, when you go to your online portal as a volunteer, you can say, I want to do these kinds of activities, and let's say you're good at the companionship and the driving, but you're not necessarily the housework or the yard work. You can decide which types of activities, which deeds you want to do for the members. Now the members go online and they submit their deed request, and then you as the volunteer, me as the volunteer, I go online and I pick up the request, and then I can either click I accept or I decline. And it's within a 15-mile radius or 30-mile radius, whatever geographical area you want to be able to go to. And so it's entirely up to you. As the volunteer, my schedule is my own. I don't have to be on call, so to speak, at any particular time. It's just whenever I can do a certain deed, then I accept it and I go do it. And so online, the member put their information is there and their phone number, and so when the volunteer accepts the deed, they then call the member and say, hi, I'm going to pick you up for the medical appointment. I'll be there at 3 o'clock, and so it's all set, and then the volunteer goes and does the deed. And then after that, the member goes online and acknowledges that the deed was actually done. So it's very simple. It's a very simple situation. As the volunteer, you have to be 18 years or older, or you could be 15, 16, or 17 with parental consent. And again, it's all, from a volunteer's point of view, it's all voluntary. Of course, all the services, whatever the deeds we do, are free. And your time is your own as a volunteer. So it's all good, as they say. It's a win-win situation, the old cliche, where you do a good deed for someone in your community, and you meet a new friend. That's part of this, is that you get to meet new people and make new friends. And from the member's point of view, they get whatever service is that they wanted to have done, and they make a new friend too, hopefully. So it's all good, as they say. And so that's what it's like from a volunteer's point of view. Again, I'm a volunteer. Now we're going to talk to a member. We have a member. I'm in the home of a member. My friend Dana here. Dana is in Clinton. And so we're going to talk to him now about what it's like to be a member.
Well, I can say that the availability of your community is concerned happened for me at just the right time. I gave up my car a couple of years ago because I thought I might kill somebody, which would not be a good thing. But and I'm quite old now. I'm 88. And while mentally I think I'm still in control, physically I'm beginning to have difficulty getting around easily. And in a small town or a small city in the U.S., if you don't have a car, it's very difficult living. And so I have been able to get my friend Paul on a number of occasions to help me pick up groceries and take me to the doctor's appointments. And I make it sound as if it were kind of routine and not very important. But in fact, if you're very old and you can't drive anymore, having these services available, this help is really critical. As somebody my age, I have to keep going to the physician, two physicians that I have, and it's really important if I'm going to stay alive. And 5 years ago, it was a challenge. Well, you say, well, you could have gotten friends to take you, but unfortunately, my friends get old too, and their tolerance for running favors for people like me is limited, even though we're very close. So this is a good thing, and I think one of its most important benefits is that it allows people to remain in their homes as they get older. There are social and personal reasons why, for many people, this is very desirable, and my guess is that there's significant financial reasons to society in having people stay in their homes, that it's much less expensive to provide some services to a person like me in my home than it is to put me in an assisted living facility, which my impression is they're frightfully expensive, and also not congenial for everybody.
About 10,000, they're estimating about 10,000 people are becoming becoming 65 years or older every day now, with the baby boomers turning 65. So the need for this kind of service is going to continue to grow and grow and grow. And as Dana mentioned, keeping the person in their home, that's the key thing. That the person wants to stay in their home, they're comfortable there, and it's just a better environment for them. And so the members of your community cares who can come by and do whatever the deeds are that they need, it's a very important thing. And so Dana, perhaps you can tell us a little bit about some of the things that we've done, or I could tell the audience that. Like we had, for instance, when you do I'll just mention this, when you do driving for someone, transportation, sometimes there are multiple stops along the way, like picking up food one place, pick up some prescription at another, whatever, go to get a COVID booster shot, whatever the case may be. So there may be multiple things involved, but generally whatever thing that the member requests doesn't take that long, especially if the person lives nearby to the volunteer, like Dana and I live near each other. So from the volunteer's point of view, you don't have to give up generally, a lot of your time per day. It can be a short situation. It might be longer, but the volunteer gets to decide that, whether they have enough time to do whatever the thing is that the person wanted.
I have lived in Clinton for about 35 years. My wife died 3 years ago, and I have to say it was the worst thing that's ever happened to me. But here I am, still chugging along, and I've reached an age where I believe my life expectancy has actually increased, relatively speaking, than what it was perhaps when I was 70. So I may be getting older and older and older for many years to come, which is a frightening prospect, I must say. But and it requires help. I was a writer when I was working, mainly in the medical field, and later working in connection with third world development. And I still write, and that helps me stay alive. I write 2 or 3 hours every day, and in all modesty, I'm quite good at it, which is a blessing. I have 2 children, and they are adjusting to the challenge of looking out for a failing old man, and my daughter is my main helper in the family, but she lives in New York with my granddaughter, and she only gets here once every 3 or 4 or 5 weeks for a weekend. So what I wish was that we lived in something like the Kennedy compound, where every member of the family had their own house, but it was only 50 yards from the next house. But I think at the turn of the 20th century, there were families that were able to be together throughout life, but that's changed in America. And I have relatives all over the place, relatives in California, in Florida. My children live in New York City. I have found that being alone so much of the time is very, very difficult, and I had never thought about it before my wife died. It's just me and the cat.
So, how did I become a volunteer? Well, I'm recently retired, and I've been living in California. I grew up here in Connecticut, moved to California, lived there for many years, and just moved back to Connecticut in September. We're filming this in February of 2022. And when I came back as a retired person, I knew I wanted to get involved in a volunteer organization of some sort. And went online, I found Your Community Cares that way. And I really liked what they had. Again, I mentioned the 4 different categories, and you can do whichever one that is best for you. And so I like the flexibility of it, and you know, just the idea of giving back to the community. That's the basis of doing this. I think anyone who volunteers, that's really the reason that they're doing it, is just to give back to their fellow man and do good things for them. And so I'm looking to continue doing this, and I found it so far to be very, it coincides with my schedule very well. I'm doing other personal things, you know, doing this doesn't interfere with that at all, because again, I have complete flexibility as to whether to do any of the deeds or not. So it's all worked out very well, and I think anyone who is looking to do any volunteering for just in general, this organization, Your Community Cares, is a great one.
One of the services that I can offer to our clients is help with computers. You know, not everyone is technology savvy, might have difficulty with logging into our website, reserving a date, or even you know, the type of service they need. So one of the services is to come in and just show them how easy that can be. The site is user-friendly, and normally with 1 or 2 meetings, they've got it and they're just running with it.
I want to say how really easy and frictionless it is to arrange for help from Your Community Cares. It's a simple operation on my computer. I just ask for assistance and give a date and time, and I punch the key, so to speak, and it goes into the ether, and in due course, if I'm fortunate, and I have been so far, I get a response saying that such and such person is available, and I get the help I need, and I have the option of indicating a particular volunteer who I've worked with previously to take on the current request, and the whole thing works very smoothly.
For those who may not have the technology or don't desire to learn the technology, there's also the option of having, say, a social worker or a nurse or someone within their family that can log these deeds in. And I know in the past I've spoken with both the client and their person who's logging the deed in. So there's always a way to make it work.
Barbara notes that some people don't want to learn the technology, and I'm a smart guy, but I find now I have to think in terms of the meter is running and I have to choose what I want to be able to do or learn, and a lot of computer stuff that I need now and won't use again for 6 months, learning it is, in a sense, a waste of my time. So I'm glad you exist. Being an old fart is that you don't have to write to some editor, you don't have to have people telling you who want to make money out of what you write that they have to do this or that. You don't have some surly boss, criticizing your work. I just sit and the words come. I'm very lucky that that happened. And there's just the only people I'm responsible to are myself and a reader, and nobody else. And
Nice.
believe me, as a writer, that's a very nice position to be
Yes.
in. Don't have to worry about selling anything, and I have written many of these stories. Computer model seems to be different from the next one. It's like cars were in 1912.
Right.
Again, thanks for watching, everyone. And we're filming this on a Saturday, and 2 days from now on Monday, I'm actually going to be back here picking up Dana to take him to a medical appointment. So, Dana, I will see you then. And until then, have a
I'm
good weekend.
looking
See you on Monday.
forward to seeing you, Paul.